At this time, we will hear from Morgan State University, which fell to Delaware State University with a score of 70-75. We are joined by head coach Kevin Broidus and student athletes Rob Lawson and Elijah Davis. Coach, we'll begin with the opening statement from you, and then we'll open the floor for questions. Coach?
First, I want to say, take my hat off to Delaware State. They played a hell of a game, and I can't take nothing away from them. That's probably the best game they've played in all conference all year. And like I told our guys, it's 0-0 when you come into tournament time, and you can't take no one lightly. And for us, it goes back to me. I think back to December 9th. And I don't know if anybody else in here know what December 9th was. We played in Chicago. We played DePaul. And we couldn't score the first half. We scored 15 points in the first half tonight, and you can't win games scoring 15 points in a half. But my hat goes off to Del State for the season they had to come in and win their last two games. Kudos to them and good luck, but, and I want to say this to these guys up here at this table, this is the heart and soul of our team right here. And I take my hat off to all three of these guys. They gave everything they had. Tonight just wasn't their night, and we was in the locker room, and the saying was, it's like Frankie Beverly, We had a lot of joy this year, but this is the pain. It's like some of y'all are too young to understand the real Olympics back in the 70s and the 80s. The joy and the agony of defeat. This is like the agony of defeat. And it happens, but life goes on. And take my hat off to the rest of the teams in the tournament. Hopefully they stay safe and healthy, and good luck to them. But for Morgan State, this is the end of the road for the MEAC part of it. So we'll see what comes after this, whether we play in any postseason, and we'll go from there. But I want to take my hat off to these three here for, giving their heart and soul to this team this year. And it was a joy to coach these guys. And, winning and losing is a part of life. It's what you do after.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now open the floor for questions for the student athletes and to the head coach.
Coach, I know you mentioned how coming into this tournament is a fresh start. Everyone starts at 0. But you guys did have a great regular season. You guys were number 2 in the conference. And so I just want to ask, coming into this conference, thinking about that, and you guys did beat Delaware State twice in the regular season, what was your mindset, and what were your plans to try to adjust to the new dynamic Delaware State might have had coming into this game?
See, I've been doing this over 30-something years, and I knew the nuances of what could happen. And, and I tried to explain to them, just because we beat them twice don't mean they're going to lay down. And I thought leading up to today's game, we had good practice. I didn't see the lay down. I didn't see the taking them lightly. But I just thought today wasn't our day, especially in the first half. So it wasn't we beat them twice, we did this, we did that. No, these guys worked. It just wasn't our day, and that happens, And I always say to these guys, you can have a bad day, but you can't have a bad effort day. We didn't have a bad effort day. We just had a bad day. I'm not making no excuses. We shot, 32% for the game. That's not us. 14% from the 3. And when that happens, it's hard to win. So it happens. No excuses, nothing. Just they were better than us today. They were 5 points better than us.
Coach, so the second half, even though y'all were struggling, like Coach said, y'all made the effort, y'all come back, y'all take the lead. Seemed like y'all had momentum on your shoulders at that point. And just talk about that point and how much of a chance y'all had it.
We had chances, all throughout the game, the second half. We had a chance to win the game in regulation. We had the last shot, and we went to the guy who has carried us. I have no problems. He carried us all year. He was the right guy to take the shot. He got us there. So, when the guy that gets you somewhere, and I trust in these three up here, I trust them. and the right guy took the shot. Just like the second half when the shots wasn't going down for him, I didn't take him out because he was 17 a game every night. So, we had our chances, and it just, I'm going to keep coming back to it, it was not our day.
For the players, obviously, not the way that you wanted it to end, but just talk about this season and, playing for Coach this year. I know Elijah is your first year playing for him, but I'm not sure about some of the other gentlemen, but just, what being a part of this program has been for you guys and kind of what you take from it as you guys move on.
Being a part of this program definitely meant a lot to me. Definitely learned everything from, learned a few things from my coach right here. I've been here for 4 years now, and it do hurt that we lost in the first round. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
I would say coming here, it was everything what I thought it was going to be despite us losing, And I've been trying to come here for some time now, so just to finally be a part of this program and to play for Coach Brodus, it was everything I dreamed of. Wish I had another year or wish I would have been here to, really experience it.
First of all, I just want to thank God, for giving us this opportunity to be in this position. Like what Coach said, these three guys, Elijah, Coach Brodus, and Rob, was, the closest people I was with this year. And, it hurts, just to be able to, for all the work that we put in, all the long hour practices, everything that we've been doing, just to be able to go out like this is it hurts really bad, but I do believe God always have a plan, and, I trust in his plan, but it was definitely a great situation for me personally, not really being able to get the opportunity how I wanted last year at my previous school, and Coach Brodus opened me with open arms and allowed me to really flourish and show who I really was this year.
Elijah and Alfred, you guys started that second half on a roll. You knocked 2, 3 threes back to back, and you guys just took over the second half to really help Morgan State close the gap. What was that conversation in halftime that really gave you guys that momentum starting the second half?
He's probably like the hardest worker I know, as far as just in the gym working on his craft. So, shots not always gonna fall. We were just telling each other just keep going. Like Coach Bose always tells us when we started the first half off Rocky, just keep going, keep attacking, keep shooting, and that we just trust in our work and trust in God's plan. And shots was falling. Just we have enough to fall to win the game.
At halftime, I told everybody just continue to just be confident. And first half, I didn't really play that well. And second half, I just knew that I had to bring a spark just to get this team going. So the biggest thing with me was just continue to just stay positive, which my team was, allowing me and telling me, like Rob and Elijah, it's going to come, it's going to come. And, it just wasn't enough to get the job done.
Any further questions?
One more for the players. What have you guys learned from Coach Brodus here at Morgan?
Just the hard work part. Every day is not going to be a good day, but like you say, as long as you have a good effort day.
I would say, especially in this time of age right now, like nobody really cares about, so we kind of really got to focus on, each other, on what we got, basically stay in our own lane, really, because, we all seniors, and, we don't know where we're going to be at next year, but we're going to be in the real world somewhere, and, all the lessons and, the adversity he put us through, it's basketball translates to the real world, and I'm positive to say that he got us prepared for the real world.
Just be able to really show, what it means to work hard every single day. It was no light practices. It was no light days. Every single day was a dog fight, and I really learned that here, to be more gritty, to be more tougher. I feel like Coach Brodus brought a player out of me that I didn't see in myself, and allowed me to just do something that I just didn't think I can do, so I really appreciate putting on this Morgan State jersey. I love these three guys right here, and I would do anything to play another game. It's crazy to say that, but I really appreciate the opportunity that everybody gave me. Open arms at this program.
The one thing I will say, if they didn't learn anything, they learned this. And I preach this each and every day. I always tell those guys, look out that window out there. Look out the door, look out the window. Nobody out there gives two shits about you. So we as a group, the team, have to love on each other because it's going to be tough. And, the first time I said it, I said, look out the window. Look out the window. And they all looked out. I said, nobody out there gives two shits about you. This is a dog-eat-dog world. And y'all going to have to learn to love on each other because this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. But life is tough. And all we talked about is teaching them life lessons. You can lose today. And I said this in the locker room after. We lost today. But if this is the worst thing that's going to happen to you, you're doing pretty damn good because not all of y'all are still breathing. No one lost a life. So these games are life lessons, the joy and pain of it, the agony of defeat. We had a lot of joy, but today was, the pain part. So these guys have learned life lessons over the last 8, 10, 12 months. And they will be successful in life. Basketball does not define who Rob Lawson is, who Elijah Davis is, who Alfred Worrell is. Basketball don't define who I am because, like I tell them, this is not the only thing I got in life. As long as I got family and breathing and I got friends, I'm doing pretty damn good. But it sucks to lose. I get it. Everyone in this country, and you can take this, is going to feel this feeling except one team. One team. Let's not get it twisted. Everyone in the country, 365 Division I schools, 364, I'm going to be disappointed. It's going to be one team that's going to leave with the joy. But I take my hats off to these guys. Hey, they bought in. It was a pleasure to coach them, and they get what life's about. I feel very comfortable and satisfied with these guys going on and either playing, coaching, or doing whatever, working in the corporate world. They will do Morgan proud, trust me.
Any further questions? Thank you, Coach. Thank you to the student athletes as well. We appreciate your time, and that will conclude Morgan State's portion of the press conference. Good afternoon, everyone, and good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's post-game press conference following the match between Morgan State University and Delaware State University. What's your final score? 75-70. Joining us, head coach Stan Waterman and the student athletes Ponce James and Ramir Moore. Coach, we're going to start with you with a statement from today's win, followed by questions. Coach, whenever you're ready.
All right. First of all, let me say thank you all for this opportunity to share our thoughts about the game. And before I talk about what we did, I want to give credit to Coach Brodus and Morgan State for the game that they played and the effort that they put out. It's a tournament. It's a MEAC tournament. It's a new season. Everybody's 0-0. You got to play the game like it's your last one because it could be your last one, and I thought both teams did that. You got an overtime contest. For us tonight, we were able to make some withdrawals on some deposits that we made early in the year. We had a lot of struggles. We had a lot of close games that we actually came out on the short end, and tonight we did the things we felt like we needed to do, taking care of the basketball, getting stops, getting big rebounds, and defending. We had a couple of keys that we wanted to start the game with. We said we really wanted to defend the arc and defend the three-point line. I think they had a tough night shooting the ball tonight, like 3 for 21 from the three-point line. Some of that's a bad night. A lot of that, I think I'll give credit to our guys for executing the game scout and the game plan. We did a nice job of defending the line. Got big rebounds when we needed them. Miles Webb got us out of the gates quickly, had a great game, 18 and 12, a double-double. That was huge for us. And these two guys that you see right here, our two captains, our leaders, really did a nice job of holding the team together and putting two hands on the steering wheel and driving it home down the stretch.
Thank you, Coach. At this time, we're going to be taking questions for both the head coach and the student athletes.
Coach, to start it off, you said that the tournament is a fresh start, 0-0, everyone starts over. But you guys did face this team twice and lost them 2 times. So thinking about that, with this being the 3rd time that you were facing them, what was your mindset coming in, and how did you guys get over that hump to finally win?
Sure. Well, and the mindset is 3rd time's the charm. That's what we were talking about. It's tough to beat a team 3 times. And so the familiarity in the league, everybody knows everybody, and by the time you play them the 3rd time around, I think a lot of it is your preparation. I want to give credit to my staff and our guys who did a great job with the game plan. The first time we lost on the last second shot at the buzzer, at our place. We thought it was a game we played well enough to win. And then the second time around, we played, and we were without a couple of our guys, the starters in those games. And not excuses, but we felt like tonight that we liked the matchup, and we thought we could compete. And fortunately, we did. We came out on the right end. Thank you.
Stephen Gaither, HBCU game there. For both of the players, you guys jumped out to an early lead, and then they kind of clawed back. What was the conversation and the resolve, like even when you guys got down by a little bit, to not get down on yourselves and keep pushing through?
Yeah, the coaches did a good job in keeping us all together, and we just stuck to the game plan. A great game plan from our coaching staff that we just followed. Like she said earlier, we lost to them 2 times in the regular season, so this time we really wanted to win, and this win or go home now. So we try to keep everybody together in the ups and downs in the game and just stay together.
For me, I think it was about the runs. I know basketball is all about game of runs, and if we could sustain the runs that they went on, then we was going to be good. I knew if we played defense and we played hard and stuck to the game plan, we would have a chance.
Coach,
You're fine. Go ahead.
Coach, you mentioned Miles Webb, his play earlier, and how he did have a great game. He did come up strong in the first half, and then in the second half, he was a little stagnant in shooting in the beginning, but his rebounds spiked tremendously. He was very on the defensive end. So was that a conversation during halftime to make that adjustment for him on offense and defense?
Well, we figured that they would make adjustments. So, like you said, he got us out of the blocks quickly and got us off to a great start. And again, knowing Coach Brodus and his staff, they were going to do something at halftime to make some adjustments. And I also think maybe a little bit of gas. They were running out of gas down the stretch, but he came up big with a couple of rebounds and a big steal that was key down the stretch. But it was really important for us to get off to a great start. Miles did a nice job of getting us off to a good start. And then when he cooled off a little bit in the second half, his teammates picked him up. And so we like to say it was a total team effort.
Coach, there were a ton of stoppages late in the second half, and overtime, free throws, and substitutions. What was the game management like for you over the last half hour that actually was only 5 minutes of game time?
Well, it's like I said, one of the reasons I brought these 2 guys in here with me. They're our captains, they're our leaders, and they were able to transfer from the bench to the floor with the rest of the guys what we were trying to do. One of the things we talked about at halftime was actually going out and winning the game and not trying to hang on. We had a 10-point lead, a 12-point lead. I think sometimes a lot of teams you get a little passive, and then you just try to play well enough to hang on. We knew Morgan would fight to the end, and so we had to keep playing, and we had to win the game and not hang on to it. And I thought our guys did a nice job of doing that. Like you said, it got a little ugly, got a little hairy down the stretch, but the guys responded and answered the bell.
Obviously everybody watching the game could see, there was the floor, it was wet. There was that. Did you guys have to do anything to adjust to that? I mean, I know you've been coaching in this building, so it can get like that. Did that, change anything around for you guys? Because it's pretty visible.
No, I don't think. I mean, if it did, both teams were playing on the same floor, so they were dealing with the same things that we were dealing with. And there was 1 or 2 instances where somebody may have had a slip. I think more than anything, more than the slippery floor, how many shots I was wondering if it was a 3 or not, because there are 4 3-point lines on the floor. You guess, was that a 3? Was that a 2? And I think the officials were even a little hesitant at some point. But no, I don't think that factored into anything at all.
Second half, around 8 minutes left of the game, Ramir was in foul trouble, so you had to pull him out of the game. How did that possibly impact the flow that you guys had on the court for the rest of the game?
Well, I think it did, but again, Dean Shepard came in, and we started to go offense, defense. We'd bring him in on offense and bring somebody else in on defense and just try to keep him away from foul situations. And again, he's got the maturity of a senior, of a guy who's been around for a while and understands how to make adjustments. That's a big part of it. You got to adjust to how the officials are calling the game. And once he picked up his fourth, he was able to finish the game and go the distance without picking up a fifth one. And I would say it's a sign of a smart player.
Yeah, we did notice it in that overtime when I think you were about to get subbed out and you told the coach, like, nah, I'm good. Yeah. And then you ended up not picking up your fifth foul the rest of that game. So shout out to you for that. You are a smart player.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
He can pay me later for that.
Coach, what did you all learn from the first couple meetings with Morgan State? You all were able to capitalize on tonight.
I think the biggest thing we learned was that we were competitive and we were good enough and that we had enough. Like I said, the first game we lost on a last-second shot at the buzzer. And then the second time we played without a few guys with some injuries, but they were still close games. So it wasn't like we were afraid or afraid of anybody running away from us. We knew we could compete, but we knew we had to play hard and we had to play together. And that was the thing, I think, just giving us hope that we knew, we were as good as anybody else in the tournament and we just had to execute. And I think, again, guys did a good job of doing that.
Ponce, a question for you. Your coach said you're a leader, you're one of the captains, and you're a sophomore. How does that feel playing against seniors, graduate students that have these years of experience on you, but you're still putting up about the same numbers as them?
I feel like my coaching staff instills a lot of confidence in me, and when I'm missing shots like tonight, my teammates pick me up and say everything's going to be good, and I just keep my mind on God and stay focused on the game.
He made some big shots. He made a big shot down the stretch, and then that was with – I'm really hard on my point guards. Number one, I play the position, and two, that's where it starts. And so I was beating him up pretty good about some of the struggles he was having early, but he showed that maturity, stayed with it, had the confidence to still take a big shot and make a big shot late in the game after missing a few early. But, again, that shows that we trust him, he trusts us, and together it worked.
Any further questions? Thank you, Coach. Thank you to the student athletes as well. We appreciate your time. And that will conclude Delaware State's portion of our press conference.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. Following Delaware State's victory.
Good job.